Today's session, we are going to take a look at the conceptualization of manual analysis versus Atlas. Okay. Right? And for those of you who already know me, you know that I am attached to UUM. But for the benefit of our friends who maybe they know me for the first time, I am glad to be seeing you in this group. Okay. My name is Ani Munira. You can call me Ani. I am currently attached to UUM as a research fellow at the Center for Testing, Measurement and Appraisal. In short, we call it SETMA. Okay, that is the organizer of our event, as well as the password that you have keyed in order to enter the meeting room today. I am a senior lecturer at the School of Law of UUM. Okay. I am teaching law students as well as servicing students from servicing law subjects to non-law students. Also an associate fellow at Legal and Justice Research Center, LGRC, and a lot of affiliations I'm going to go through very quickly. Advisor to the Doctorate Support Group. Okay, I'm sure many of you have heard of DSG before. Okay, and maybe you have dealt with the admin as well, Anita Adnan. Okay, Anita has been very helpful in facilitating me and my friends as well, and everybody. In fact, we have around 80,000 members at the moment. If you're not yet a member of DSG, you can just type in Doctorate Support Group on Facebook and request to join. And finally, I wish to explain to you that I am a certified Atlas.ti Senior Professional Trainer. Okay, now, but certification put aside, okay, what I want to share with you is my experience in using the software entirely for my PhD, for both the purposes of literature review as well as qualitative analysis. If you have any questions, you can just type in the chat box. Okay, I'll be reading them during the Q&A session. However, when the time permits, I might take a look at your chat box from time to time. Okay. Now, the idea behind module number 1, okay, is to explain to you the strategies that people have been employing, okay, for the purpose of qualitative data analysis. And we have manual analysis as well as CADAS. CADAS is a software for qualitative analysis. It actually stands for CAQDAS, Computer Aided Qualitative Data Analysis Software. Okay. Now, but before we move to the more serious part, let us just step back for a bit. Okay. Now, this webinar series on Atlas.ti Exploration for Qualitative Analysis is not to explain about qualitative research in general, how to go for data collection, and how to do management of your data. For example, what are the problems that you encounter during data. Now, the stage where it is expected that you are at by taking up the course is you already have data in your hand. Okay, we already have the data. Now, what we need to do is we need to qualitatively analyze the data for the purpose of reporting. So you can have, you might have adopted various instruments as has been shown just now. Okay, you might also have end up with various formats of data sources in the form of textual images or video, for example. Okay, so at this stage, it is either you already have the data which you can use for the purpose of our training, or if you don't have data yet, you estimate you will go for data collection maybe next semester, next year, for example, it's fine. Okay, you can just use hypothetical data or sample data for the purpose of our training. Okay, someone asked in our Telegram group today, is it required to install Atlas.ti upfront? Okay, for this particular module, it is not a requirement yet because it's more like information sharing, okay, about manual analysis as well versus CADAS. However, starting with module number do is going to be hands-on. So I would really appreciate if you can install Atlas on your computer straight away. So when I demonstrate on my computer, you can test it on your own computer. And if you have any problems, you can interact. Okay, that's I think that should be the way that the direction that we are going. Okay, now let's go ahead. Okay, we will begin by taking a look at the concept of data analysis first. Okay? Data analysis, like I mentioned, we have the data in our hand. Is it okay after I have interviewed 20 participants? Is it justified for me to say that my research is already completed? Can I say, wow, I am done with the first part of meeting people, having a video conference calls, for example, telephone calls, online service. Now I have the data already. Can I say that my research is complete? No, not yet, because we have to go through the process of data analysis. Okay? What is data analysis for that matter? Data analysis is making sense of the data. Okay, making sense. You want to understand. Like I said, on your left-hand side in the screen, you will have the data sources in various formats, the ones that we have already responded in the poll just now. And we want to convert that format into the research report or interpreted data. Okay, that is the process of data analysis before you end up with the research report, or interpreted data on your right hand side. You will need to work around that data first. So this webinar series is designed for us to dig through how to manage the data that we want to analyze, the analysis process, to visualize that analysis, to generate outputs in Atlas.ti for the purpose of creating this research report, the interpreted data on your right hand side. To make things clearer, I have prepared this sample, this example figure, I shall say, the raw data that we have in various formats, textual, images, audio, video, is something that you can find on your left-hand side. And each of these data, they have important sections in it. This important section could be represented by the different colors. For example, here, blue colored points could mean interpretation. Yellow colored point could mean problems. Red colored points could mean suggestion. Now, you can see the location of each of these important sections. They are not actually following sequence. That's very common. You don't have to worry about it, because when we do data collection, sometimes we ask the first question, the participant will be responding without realizing they are responding to the following questions already, which is fine. Our duty is to collect those information, and now we want to notice this information so that we can pick them up. From the data, from the raw data, we want to pick up, we want to retrieve these important sections so that we can compile them accordingly into the research report. So you can see on your left-hand side is the raw data. On your right-hand side is the research report. Likewise, this one. On your left-hand side is the data sources. On your right-hand side is the research report. Now, to illustrate better, I have also prepared this sample diagram, or figure, just to show you. On your left-hand side, for example, we have 4 documents. Document number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. What is it that we want to do with these 4 documents? This is the stage that everybody in this classroom is expected to be at, because we want to learn Atlas.ti for the purpose of qualitative data analysis. So we have the data ready. This data could be for textual documents, for audio, for video, for images, or one transcript, one PDF document, one audio, and one image. It doesn't matter. And what's important is we want to notice and retrieve the important sections from the data. Now, probably blue colored point is representing introduction or definition. Okay, definition. And likewise, you will find the blue colored points in the definition. Blue colored points as well in document number 1, document number 2, and document number 3. So you can see the location, they're not similar, right? Document number 1 is in the first paragraph, document number 2 is in the second paragraph, document number 3 is in the fourth paragraph, and document number 4 do not mention about definition. Okay. Now let's move on to the second, third, and fourth concepts as well. Okay. Red colored points represent problem. Green colored points represent suggestion. What color is this? Should be purple, but it comes out yellow. Okay, and yellow or very light green. Okay, this represents initiatives. Okay, what are the initiatives? What are the factors, for example? So now this is the exact situation that we will end up if we have the data and then we have identified that relevant section to be carrying a certain meaning. Blue color carries the meaning of definition. Okay, red colors problem, green color suggestion, for example. Why do you do that? Because you want to create the report, the research report or the findings. Okay, here on your right hand side represents the research report or the findings, okay, upon which you will be compiling the blue colored points to be together, the red colored points to be together, the green colored points to be together, the now it comes up purple, the purple colored points to be together. Okay, so what does this figure summarize to us? It summarizes the entire process of preparing the data. Okay, you now prepare the data to be in front of us, and then you work around that data to identify relevant sections in the data, and the ones that are relevant, you put a label to it. Okay, you label it as definition, you label it as problem, you label it as factors, for example. Why? Because you want to retrieve them for the purpose of putting them into the report or the findings. Okay, now that is essentially the direction or the entire, how shall I say, aim of this webinar series. Okay, in the following webinar series, we are going to focus on Atlas.ti. Okay, for the purpose of today's module, we are going to talk about what are the strategies that other people have already employed, okay, for the purpose of this process. Again, this process that people are doing. Okay? Now, bear in mind, the idea behind qualitative analysis is you want to pick up the important sections. You want to take a look at their data, notice the data, and you want to pick up the relevant sections for the purpose of putting it into the report. But of course, in the report, it's not simply compiling. Okay? Everybody can do compilation. You compile that, put into the research report. It's not simply as that. That's why in the module number 5, we're going to talk about how to work around the compilation of the data that we have already gotten, okay, and put it into the report. Now, let's take a look at strategy number 1. Okay, how have people implemented this strategy of getting the important sections in the data to put it into the report? So you can see on your left hand side, okay, the strategy, I call it as colored paper and scissors. Okay, but when you read research methodological books, they will just say manual analysis or any other types of analysis not using computer softwares. Okay, this is entirely manual. It is doable. It is a lot of people have already carried out colored paper and scissors strategy. Okay. How does it work? It works like this. Colored papers and scissors. Each and every one of these colored papers represent different participants for our interview or different data sources. Okay, you could have transcriptions, participant 1, participant 2, participant 3, participant 4, observation note 1, field note 1, okay, survey data 3, survey data 1, survey data 2, survey data 3. So you can have a compilation of data. But what is important is each of these will be represented in different colored papers. Why? Because it will help us to identify, once we break it down into smaller chunks, we want to identify who actually make this statement. Okay, maybe it's the person which is red color, which is maybe it's the person yellow color, maybe it's the person black color, for example. Now, what do? They will print out. Researchers will print out the transcriptions or the data into different colored papers, and they will use scissors to cut through the colored papers. Yeah, what does it mean? They will take a look at, this statement talks about definition. So they will cut through that section and they will put it into envelopes. So you can see in the middle here, they will put it into envelopes. One envelope for definition, one envelope is for problem, one envelope is for factors. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, you can imagine what will happen. The colored paper on the left-hand side will be cut through using scissors entirely, and each of the pieces of paper will be put into the envelopes. And the envelopes, from as thin as nothing inside, now it will be quite thick, okay, holding pieces of paper from different colors. I repeat, each envelope represents a specific theme, okay, or a concept, a specific theme or concept, and in this envelope will contain pieces of paper of different colors. Why different colors? Because it represents different person. Okay. Now, envelope number 1 on definition, envelope number 2 on problem. So it's the same thing. Now, the result of this compilation, okay, what do? Empty a table. On that table, today I'm going to open envelope blue color and bring out the pieces of paper and put on the table. On the table, they will now rearrange the papers in order to be following grouping. Okay? Of course, everybody is talking about definition. Here is the first envelope talking about definition. So they will just rearrange, the definition of sports. The definition of sports is actually 3 types of definition. The first definition, it involves bodily movement. Okay? Anybody who mentions sports is bodily movement will be grouped together. The second category, okay, they define sports as outdoor activity. Anything with regards to indoor is not considered sport. Outside is considered sport. That's how people define sport. No problem. Compile this paper into one section. And the third group says anything that involves physical activity as well as outdoor. Okay? Physical activity as well as outdoor. So now we have 3 piles of paper. 3 piles of paper having different thoughts. Okay? One pile says one thing, the second pile says another, and the third pile says another thing. Now, what do we do next? We are going to report that into our findings chapter or our research report. Definition, the definition of sports can be categorized into 3. First category, what has been mentioned by the participant. Category 2, what has been mentioned, and category 3. Now, what do you think about this method? This method has been proven to be very effective. Why? Because a lot of people have engaged in this process in order to analyze their qualitative data. Okay? They use colored papers and scissors, put into envelopes and convert it into report. But I can hear your mind, okay, saying that this is highly manual. Okay, highly manual in the sense that they have to do a lot of management of the data, okay, management of the data, management of the important points in the data, management of the envelope for the purpose of putting that into the research report. And then people started to ask, is there any easier way or is there any more effective way rather than this? People resort to sticky notes. I'm sure you have seen this as well. Sticky notes. Each of these sticky notes, okay, they will represent different ideas. For example, yellow colored points will be on definition, green colored points will be on suggestion, orange colored points will be on factors, for example. But what is important is it's sticky. It's in the name sticky itself. Sticky means melekat. Sticky means you can paste it, you can pull it, you can paste it again. It's sticky because it's stick to the wall. Very often, if the researcher is using this strategy, what they will do is they will paste it on the wall. I have a friend. On the left-hand side, one wall is for the husband, one wall is for the wife, just to show that there is the wall for the analysis, because they happen to be using the same. They happen to be using the same. They happen to be doing their PhD at the same time. Okay, right. Sticky notes. Okay, very. In fact, my current research that I am conducting as well, people are still doing sticky notes. Okay, because again, it's one of the effective ways how to do it. But what is most important is that that notes, okay, is the raw data, and that raw data is you can shape it accordingly. Okay, for example, maybe one time it's just okay compilation of papers on that wall, but later on you will take it up and put it into one space, pull out another and put it into one space, then we will have a compilation very similar to the first output. Okay, the first strategy output is on the table, pieces of paper. For the second strategy, they will have a collection of sticky notes on definition of sports, outdoor activity, a compilation of stickers for the second, which is physical activity. Okay? And the third category is compilation of notes, sticky notes on that. Now, do you agree with me that whatever you can achieve from the first strategy is very similar to what you can achieve in the second strategy? Because what you do is you are dissecting the data into smaller chunks so that this smaller chunk will bear meaning. Okay, this smaller chunk is the definition. Another smaller chunk is the factor. Another smaller chunk is the problem, for example. Okay, now, then again, how to effect that into the report? What you do is you have a compilation of that. We will put that into the report, and it's not simply compiling. After you have compiled, you still need to go through what is the definition A, definition B, and definition C. Now let's move on to strategy number 3, which is quite famous nowadays. Okay? People have resorted to more efficient ways of doing qualitative analysis so that they can focus more on the thinking part, the write-up part, rather than to manage the data and manage the qualitative analysis of the data, of the important sections. Okay, now how does it work? The strategy number 3 is it's less manual, okay, but it's still manual, less manual than the first and second strategies. This one, the researchers will just be in front of the computer, build tables in Word or Excel, okay, any word processor or any spreadsheet. Build table, okay, for what? Number one is based on the person or the person's age group or the person's shared characteristic. So you can see in this example here, Anna, who is in the age group 20 plus, Frederick, age group 30, Bernadette, age group 60, Mary, age group 60. Now, each and every one of these participants are in the table. Okay, the second one is what are they talking about for point number one, point number two, point number three? Okay, but then again, this is what you can see on your screen right now. Okay, number three here, it represents the raw data. This is the transcript for the interviews. Okay, interviewer Anna, okay, for example. So what does the researcher do? The researcher will actually break down the data into smaller chunks, not by cutting or putting into sticky notes, but what they do is they will just copy that statement, put into the relevant table. Copy that section, put into the relevant table. By doing that, the researcher will be able to, how shall I say, to utilize entirely what is in the data so that they will fit into each of the categories that we have identified for the purpose of our research. Now, this particular table, you can straight away use in the report. You can put into the report, of course, with particular explanation, elaboration, and all. Okay, right. Now, how do you find it so far? Everybody okay? I hope you can still follow me. You can follow me right at the moment, or am I going too fast? Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, good. Now, although I am teaching strategy number 4, software, computer software. Okay, although I am personally teaching computer softwares, which is number 1 here at Atlas.ti, okay, Atlas.ti.com. There are other qualitative computer softwares out there. I am sure you have heard of these trade names before. Okay, some of them are Atlas.ti. Okay, I just list down the major ones with many users around the world. Okay, but out of this, other than these 4, there could be other softwares out there. Okay, number 1, I put Atlas.ti. Okay, also together with the link Atlas.ti.com. We have NVivo, QSRinternational.com, okay, MaxQDA, as well as WordCourse. So what is it? Okay, what is it actually? It is to simplify the management of the data, and it's not to simplify the analysis. It is to simplify the data and identification of the relevant data. I always have to mention this because at my initial stages of training, okay, I've been teaching at FCI since 2010. People have this misconception that they learn at FCI, they do not need to know how to analyze qualitatively, okay, which is wrong. A software as it is nothing more than a tool to help us to manage our data and manage the important points. The software itself cannot analyze for us. Are you upset to hear me say that? XCI software or any other softwares here, they cannot analyze the data for us. We are still the mastermind of that research, which will give instructions to the software. We will tell the software what is our code names. We will tell the software what is the relationship between one code to another. Okay, it's not like a quantitative software that you can key in the data, press a button, and get the finding. Here, in a quantitative research, the human aspect is highly significant if you do not have a strategy to build your list of themes, list of concepts. Atlas.ti will not be useful for you. Okay, Atlas.ti will not be useful if we do not know how to analyze qualitatively. So what I am doing today in this webinar series is I want to explain to you. If I explain to you the technical aspect of Atlas.ti, it's going to be very straightforward. It can take a very short time. But if I explain to you the rationale, each and every one of these features in Atlas.ti, why do we click that button and not the other button? What's the significance of doing that, for example? It will, I hope, you can implement or you can adopt what I teach, what I demonstrate to your own particular research as well. Now, okay, Atlas.ti, okay. Now, before I talk to you about development of Atlas.ti, I wish to talk to you about the manual strategies of number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, it is not wrong for you to choose any of the strategies 1, 2, and 3. Although they are manual, it requires a lot of effort, it requires a lot of persistence. What you could achieve by strategies 1, 2, and 3 are very similar to what you can achieve by using strategy number 4. But strategy number 4 is what I recommend, and a lot of researchers out there are also recommending, because it can help to simplify things, something that you can take a lot of steps in the manual stage, you can just automate a few things inside of Atlas.ti. Okay, any questions so far? If you do have questions, you can just type in the chat box and I'll be happy to address them with you. Okay, now Atlas.ti, it began in 1989. You can see from the bottom here, 1989, it began as a research project at the Technical University of Berlin. Okay, you can see that at that time they're still using floppy disks. Okay, and moving on, the DOS version 1993 is the first commercial version which came out. Now, what happened in 1989 was that it is a research project combining people from diverse backgrounds, educationists, technologies. For example, okay, what they do is they develop a tool for text interpretation. Text interpretations. That's why you see a TI behind here. Okay, Atlas.ti. This is the correct spelling of Atlas.ti, by the way. Okay, Atlas.ti. Okay, small letters for TI. And text interpretation. They want to interpret that particular text. Moving on, version 4, version 5, version 6, 7. Okay, and in between version 7 and 8, okay, we have quite a significant change as well. Okay, we have the Atlas.ti mobile. So now I informed earlier that I began teaching in 2010, okay, using version 6. Okay. After that, we upgraded to version 7 in 2012, okay, and then moving on to 2014 until the current version that we are looking, which is 2016. Okay, it was launched for Atlas.ti 8, okay, for both Windows and Mac. Now, if you go to our website, okay, this is the website. I'm just gonna refresh it. www.atlas.ti.com, you will realize a small message here. Oh, but it doesn't come up. The small message is notifying that version 9 is coming soon. Okay? But because this workshop has been designed before that announcement, so I will personally, once version 9, we are going to learn version 8, but once version 9 comes out, okay, and I have a recording, I will also be sharing with you. Okay, so likewise, if you get Atlas.ti now, okay, this is not promotion. you can buy directly from the website. Yeah, you don't need to buy from. Get Atlas.ti version 8 now. You will be upgraded for free for version 9. Okay. Um, of course, if you're using the genuine version of Atlas.ti, then you will be automatically upgraded to version 9. I don't think automatic. I was informed you will be invited to upgrade to version 9, okay, for free. Okay, that's good news. So you can use 8 and 9 side by side at the same time. Okay, so whatever that you're learning today, it will not go to waste, okay, because you can install and you can use it even after version 9 comes up. Okay, that's the best part of it. And how shall I say this? I have seen the interface of Atlas version 9. Mostly, generally, the interface is still the same with improved features. Okay, so what you learn for version 8, familiarize yourself with it. When version 9 comes out, the transition will be smooth. Okay, that's good news. Right. Yeah, that's what I want to share with you. And then I'm going to move on to, other than that, okay, we also have, yeah, the one that we are demonstrating, it will be FCI desktop. Okay, and here is the URL, www.fci.com. You can just go to this website. And we also have FCI mobile app. If you have iPad 2 and above or Android, you can just go to App Store or Play Store in order to download the mobile version of FCI. Okay, the mobile version of FCI is free. Okay, it's not charged. Okay, but of course the features are slightly limited. Okay, as opposed to the desktop version. The desktop version has the most comprehensive features. That's why that is the version that we are demonstrating in this webinar series. Now, FCI desktop, okay, it can import backup files from mobile, okay, from your iPad. You can send to the desktop so that in the desktop you can continue working on the more features of it. Okay. Here is also an improvement, a lot of improvement. Atlas.ti Cloud, okay? You can just come to cloud.atlas.ti.com and sign up for free. Okay? I was made to understand that they will be charging soon, but please, I suggest that you can come to Atlas.ti Cloud and sign up for a free account. The best part about Atlas.ti Cloud is it's not device specific, because just now the Atlas.ti desktop is device specific. Atlas.ti Cloud is web based. You can run your analysis, you can do the analysis at any device with internet connection. Okay, now maybe just a little bit very quickly. My teaching journey in Atlas.ti. So at that time, I don't have a photo for Atlas.ti 6, but at the time, the earliest workshop that I can grab this photo, yeah, was for Atlas.ti 7 workshop. Yeah, you can see the folder is stated 7, but now this white color is Atlas.ti 8. Okay, Atlas.ti 8 version. And below here, you will see that's me. Yeah. There was one time we were invited to Germany for Atlas.ti user conference, and the man standing beside me is Thomas Moore. Thomas Moore is the CEO of Atlas.ti, which is it was very exciting to meet such a great person was behind the entire company of Atlas.ti in developing the software and getting users from all over the world. Okay, now I have shared with you how to do the analysis using manual, and I have also explained about Atlas.ti, but I have not demonstrated to you about Atlas.ti yet. So if I may take some time, to demonstrate to you about Atlas.ti Cloud as well as here. Yeah, as you will realize, I am using a MacBook. And why? Because when I go for my trainings, there will be Mac users. So I think I'm going to do a poll, okay, inside of our Telegram group to check if you're using Atlas.ti Mac or Windows, yeah, so that I can also demonstrate to you during modules 2 until 5, okay, later on, about setting up a project, creating codes, commenting, yeah, as well as visualization, slightly different between Mac as well as Windows. Majority of my course participants are normally Windows users, but we also have Mac users, so I will demonstrate that as well. This is the interface of Atlas.ti Mac. I'm just going to go very quickly. I think I have a team here. Anisuya was also using MacBook. Yeah. I like to demonstrate. Okay. And here in Windows as well. This is the interface for Atlas.ti Windows. Okay, you realize that the link for Atlas.ti page is www.atlas.ti.com. I will also be sharing that in our Telegram group. The link to download the trial version of Atlas.ti, because if possible, before we meet for the second meeting later on, we will get everybody to install Atlas.ti already on their computers. Now, very quickly, I am going to show you, okay, what do I mean by this process. This process will include having the data, document number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, segmenting the data, meaning I will highlight and put a specific label name onto it, highlight and put a label name, you can highlight and put a label name, and also I will demonstrate how to generate the report, okay, so that this will be the direction that we are going. Because in the following modules, we are going to learn how to create a project, put our documents inside. We are going to learn how to do the labeling and tagging, the highlighting. We are also going to see how to visualize our analysis. And then we are going to generate the reports for the purpose of reporting. Okay, that's essentially what I'm going to do very quickly here, just to show you inside of Mac interface, I can have the data itself. Okay, here is a video.
26 years of age is Demetria.
Okay, example. And then this is an MP4 video. Here is a textual document. Here is a PDF. Sorry. Here is a PDF. Okay. And here is an image. Here is a journal article, for example. Okay. And yeah. And these are my labels. Okay, for example, I want to know what are the benefits of doing sports. Okay, I can get that from my data. First and foremost, this one is talking about psychological benefit. Now, this is my data. Moving from one data to another is simply clicking on the tabs on top here, okay, so that I can move from one document to another. And each of these documents, I will label it accordingly. For example, this one is cycling. Maybe this part, it is talking about psychological benefit. I'm going to bring it here. For example, do you see how easy it is to label the relevant sections in our data? Okay, this is a video. I can do that, and then I can also go to Word document, go to PDF document. Again, here is psychological benefit, and for the image, I'm just going to do the image is the soccer ball is also psychological benefit, for example. What you see in the data, the center of the CI is the data itself. The smaller section
Dah lama kita kira dah.
you will call it as the margin area where all your quotes will appear. Okay, and likewise windows as well. I can have a video. Okay, here is the video. I'm just going to make it bigger so that I can show it to you. And I can play the video itself.
26 years of age is Dmitriev.
Lebih kok aku baru.
Okay, like they are playing, and here is a note again.
Different tactics going to be adopted now. The Russians got asked to accelerate a little bit. Botsicher has him where he wants.
Okay, and I also have PDF blog. This now is the notes. Here is a PDF.
Channel pun ada dalam channel tu.
Okay.
Channel tak ada. Tak ada. Tak ada, memang tak ada. Polis pun tak ada channel dia aja. Suruh pakai mask tu je. Malah boleh cerita. Tapi boleh cerita kak. Apa dia? Min.
Okay, alright. Very quickly, what do I mean by putting in the specific codes? Okay, psychological benefit. Let me just put a very quickly improvement of self-esteem. This is psychological benefit. Okay, and likewise an image. I'm just gonna, do we have psychological benefit here? Maybe I can just put a psychological benefit over here as well. Now, after we have done the codings, okay, codings mean labeling. Okay, I read through a section and then I label it. What was it? Oh, I want to do the compilation, right? Because right here, it shows what I... First, I prepare the data. Okay. And then I want to compile. I would simply go to quotes. This is the list of quotes that I have. Likewise, in Mac as well, I want to demonstrate that. Here are my list of quotes. I can keep track of how many highlightings do I have so far for that particular quote. For example, here, psychological benefit. Okay. I can take a look of what I have coded with psychological benefit by going to here, export as report. I can choose to have the quotations as well for psychological benefit, which document it comes from. So it's going to tell me that. Now, let's do the manager just to show you. Here are everything that I have highlighted from my various documents. I have highlighted from document number 1, number 2, number 3, as well as number 4. And these are the relevant quotes that I have. For example, I want to take a look at the psychological benefit. It comes from document number 1, the video, document number 2, document number 3, as well as document number 4. So I'm going to create a report. Here, section from the video can be seen. In which document I also want that to be shown. Atlas.ti report for qualitative analysis, psychological benefit. Okay, and here they are, the video section, the statement from document number 2, statement from document number 3, and the image of the soccer ball image from document number 4. And I can save it into Microsoft Word, DOC, DOCX, or the ODT. Okay. Now, in Windows is also the same. I can also select what I want. Okay, for example, psychological benefit. I have until 5. I can create the report as well. Okay, this report I can customize how I want it to be, and then it will generate the report in the format of textual. So this is my textual report. If you cannot follow, don't worry. I just demonstrate it first because I want to show you this is where we are going. Okay, we are going to create a project, put our documents inside, do the selection, labeling, coding, and then we are going to generate reports like this. This report is actually the compilation of everything that I have highlighted for my codes. So I have chosen psychological benefit just now. Psychological benefit, okay. I can also see document number 1, is a video. Document number 2, the statement. Document number 3, and document number 4, sports physical for content. This one is talking about psychological benefit. Okay, now that is the first format. The second format that I want to show is by way of visualization. Okay, we are going to do this in module number 4. We want to visualize whatever that we have highlighted so far for a particular code or multiple codes that we want. We can do it on psychological benefit by bringing in all the statements that I have. For example, I want it to be showing like this, and I can also choose, in order to take a look at the preview, because it's an image, only a video cannot be previewed, I think. Video cannot be previewed. So I'm just going to go again. Okay. Here is the compilation of everything talking about. I think radio is nice. Yeah. Everything that talks about psychological benefits. So you remember when I said the papers in the envelope as well as on the wall, the sticky notes? Okay, I find that this statement and this statement supports each other. This statement and this statement supports another, because it is the definition of support. Yeah, and here is another thing. Now what I do is this one I will label it, because this one is actually supports. Likewise, this one, it actually supports. Or this one is actually criticizing this one. Now, this is what we will do in the visualization, as well as preparing the output for the purpose of our analysis. Here in Mac also this can be done. Okay? This can be done by way of add neighbors quotation. All the quotations will also be there. Preview. Yeah, I think it's nicer in Mac in the sense that the video can be previewed. The video can be previewed in network but not in Windows. And the video section in MacBook as well can be, I think because MacBook is more to multimedia usage. Okay, right. Again, that so I can also create the relationship between one code to another. A marked improvement criticizes. Now visualization is a lot easier, to me in MacBook. However, in Windows as well, I think they are doing improvements to it. So justify. So that is basically what we will do. Okay. Now, by having the output in the form of textual, the compilation of statements talking about psychological benefit, as well as the image or diagram that talks about psychological benefit, it will actually become as a guidance for us to prepare the finding report later on. Okay. I will open the basically this is what we are going to do. First, in this module, I explained to you the differences of manual versus computer analysis, and I also explained about the steps that we will be doing in modules 2 and 5, which is creating a project, putting in the documents, segmenting, labeling, and visualizing, and creating the report for findings. Any questions? I welcome questions from everybody. because I'll be excited uh, to address data-data seperti video tu nak masukkan bagaimana. Okay, good question, Amy. We will be adding to in module number 2. Okay, we are going to create the project and add the documents. If you are using Mac, yeah, it can easily be plus sign in order to add document, okay, add documents, or in Windows you can just go to home, add documents, add files, okay, for example. But you don't have to worry, we're going to do that step by step, okay, for the purpose of creating the document, creating the project and adding the document. Other questions? Okay, thank you, Amy, for putting in the Atlas.ti Cloud is used for data analysis or data storage. Atlas.ti Cloud is used for data analysis. Okay, it's not for storage. Yeah, okay. Any questions? We can, I will also be giving this slide, yeah, a lot of images actually to explain, but this slide will have to be watched together with the replay, which I'll be sharing the replay in our Telegram group. Okay, any questions from our friends Telegram group? I think. Wow, 18. Okay. Okay, all right. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in our session today. I am sorry for any shortcomings on my part, from the organizer part, and I welcome any questions that we can continue the discussion in our Telegram group. Okay, but before that, before we leave, I wish to bring your attention to our some pages. Yeah, okay. Right. The first one is, if you're not yet friends with me on Facebook, I would like to invite you to be friends with me. Okay. On Facebook, you can just type Ani Munira and you will find my profile. Apart from that, we also have Atlas.ti page, okay, Atlas.ti in Malaysia page. The username is Atlas.ti Malaysia. And another one is our support group, Atlas.ti Researchers Group. I see some familiar names. Some of you are already in the group. Thank you so much. I will also be putting in these links into our Telegram group so that we can you can follow Atlas.ti information as well as any news updates. Okay. But until our during the continuation of this webinar series, we can discuss interactively in our Telegram group.